What's poppin', y'all? We are talking about the unfortunate news of the self-deletion of Lincoln University's Vice President of Student Affairs, picture right here, as well as Lincoln University's president is, on leave because of it. So if you haven't heard the news, basically Lincoln's University Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Antoinette Candia-Bailey, she unfortunately self-deleted herself on Monday. And just in the past few days, there has been a slew of different, reports coming out about set of emails sent to Lincoln University's president of Dr. John Mosley about, her mistreatment by the program, by him, as well as just in general, like how she was feeling in the days leading up to her, self-deletion. Well, just continuing down this report by News One, while all details surrounding the situation were not immediately clear, emails from Candia-Bailey showed not just that Mosley ignored her complaints about his treatment of her, but also that Lincoln's University of Missouri's board of curators refused to take any action when notified. Just going by the report by KE, these emails stated that she requested for family medical leave, FMLA, and the Americans with Disabilities Act state that the relationship between her and Mosley went downhill due to her severe depression and anxiety. As well as Candia-Bailey also wrote that she was intentionally harassed and bullied. She asked for help. Mosley ignored the request, failing to respond to emails, or when face-to-face danced around the topic. Yeah, so these are just reports, but if there has been any truth to these reports, then it's definitely not looking good for the university, because there is not necessarily just going to be a lawsuit in their hands, but a person self-deleting themselves, like a person is gone, as well as who know countless as many people who probably have these same complaints, who might come out and come forward in the next following days. This is a huge issue on their hand. So the reason the story is so important to me and why I'm reporting on it today is because self-deletion in the Black community is a rising issue, especially when you put in the perspective of awareness of Black issues ever since the unaliving of George Floyd. And in a study by Boston University, Black women aged 18 to 65 have the highest self-deletion risk among women. And in particular, this study found that Black women in the highest income strata had a 20% increase in the odds of self-deletion of injuries as well compared to white women in the lowest socioeconomic strata. And so basically what this is saying is that, even with Black women making the highest amount, or, making, big bucks, like we all want to say, they're still having higher rates of unalivings than, white women who are basically in a low economic status. And so what I'm trying to say right now is that no matter how successful you are, no matter how perfect your life may seem, no matter how many opportunities and resources you may have available because of wealth, Black women are still facing a higher self-deletion rate than people who have less access to that stuff. When looking at the factors associated with self-deletion and injuries, researchers reviewed the National Inpatient Sample Database, basically hospital database from 2000 to 2015. Basically, the study concluded that interventions and policies that reduce smoking, prevent intimate partner violence, address racial discrimination and bias — this is a big one I'll talk about in a few seconds — and provide universal health coverage are needed to prevent excess mortality from self-deleted deaths. And so from that article, basically, I kind of can understand the risk factors that she was facing, probably up until her self-deletion, because if these emails actually come out to be true, then it highlights a major problem that many people in Black academia face. Because as a Black academic who went through undergrad at a PWI and is going to a university for my graduate program that has only 2 Black males in it, it's just very taxing being Black in an academic space where the space wasn't built for you. And if you haven't worked in academia, or haven't noticed in academia at the very least, they masquerade themselves as a place for thought, place for free speech, place for learning. But in actuality, they're just uppity businesses that still have a bottom line, that still have a quota, and that is just trying to get more and more money. And basically, that comes with the fact that, a lot of Black people want to go into these spaces and want to actually do good in the community and actually try to use their education to build out a better world. But that comes at the expense of not getting your research project funded. That comes at the expense of not being able to, get your thesis or dissertation the way you want to do. You all have to cater it towards a more lighter audience, if you get my drift. Not to mention that, you have to face gaslighting with your peers, not only just, the non-people of color, but also just the people of color, especially other black people who think that, racism doesn't exist because now they in this, big fancy position. Now they can make the shots, whatever. But in actuality, they're just trying to uphold this system in order to appease the people who are above them, oftentimes who are white. And I can go on and on about the many stories I have about my own personal gaslighting, my own personal journey, and like how I feel like I was unsupported many times in my academic career. But the main focus of the video is Dr. Candia-Bailey, because at the end of the day, she was fighting a battle that she was losing, as well as the fact that people that was supposed to be there to help her, that was supposed to be there to support her, failed her on many levels. And so to end off this, very quick, story I did today is still very important. It's not enough to necessarily just tell people like, go reach out for support, don't get this, because when you do reach out for support, in the case of Dr. Bailey, she didn't get any support and she felt like she was all alone and she was like suffering alone in many instances. And, there's no telling if someone reached out, if someone stopped, harassing her, if she wasn't bullied or, she got the support she needed, there's no telling if she would have actually still, self-deleted herself. But that's still no excuse to just like have no accountability in this case. And if it did find out to be true, all these allegations in these emails are what they meant to be, then somebody need to get fired, the president get fired, the board of curators need to get re-examined or put more guidelines in place. But for the message going home for y'all, if you can't find support, if you think you are ideating something, self-deleting yourself, please reach out to anyone you love. Please try to like do the best you can. And definitely, please know that you're not alone in your struggle. Like, I know that's very much a cliche thing they say in the PSAs, but please reach out if you have any of these feelings. But with that being said, that has been Pop Health today. If you like what you see today, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Please leave your thoughts down in the comment sections down below. Stay warm. Frosty. It's going to be a very cold weekend here in Texas. So definitely staying warm over here, but peace out.